every 20 minutes. It's your statewide Alabama Weathercast.
Hi, I'm meteorologist James McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network. Got your mid-morning Alabama forecast, and starting off looking at some pictures from yesterday for some of our sky watchers. Sandra Kirkwood sent this one in of a thunderstorm near New Market. A nice looking storm there and just a beautiful scene in general. And also Tyne Wingo from Corner sent a picture of this one near Corner. And again, a nice looking tower there. We had most places stay dry yesterday, but there definitely were a couple of thunderstorms around. And that's what we're seeing here with these pictures. Down in Baldwin County, Ron Lipham sent in this one here. You see the rain shaft there in central Baldwin County. So again, just some beautiful scenery out there. And again, we thank our sky watchers for sending those in every day. All right, so your satellite and radar for this morning. Got a few clouds in a few spots. East central Alabama, the western Alabama, a lot of places still starting off in full sunshine. A couple of showers that have kind of come in and out over the last hour or so, maybe a few lingering showers that have moved out of Cherokee County down towards the south a little bit there. And again, you have some stuff along the state line here with Mississippi and also Georgia, but for the most part, most of the state starting off dry this morning, but we will definitely see some thunderstorms as we move through the rest of the afternoon for sure. Florence, looking beautiful out there, nice blue skies. Looking over the campus of the University of North Alabama, moving over towards Bald Rock, down in between or down on I-20 there or near I-20. Temperatures at 78 degrees. Dew points still not too bad at 69 degrees with just a few puffy clouds out there and some beautiful blue skies as well. And then as we move down further to the south, looking out to the Gulf, Dauphin Island, 86 degrees. See a few towers starting to form there out over the Gulf with a dew point of 74 degrees. So what we're watching for today and this rest of this week, few strong storms possible today, especially kind of in the northern part of the state as a boundary moves in from the north. Heat levels, though, will slowly fall as we head towards the end of this week, and really we'll see those back down quite a bit as we get into next week. And that's going to be the big story, is that we'll have a little bit of a fall preview, more or less, as we get into early next week, which will be really nice for this time of year. Temperatures right now, though, we're still starting off warm today. We're at 84 degrees at Birmingham already, 80 in Eufaula, 82 in Dothan. And so we're already starting to warm up pretty good even in the mid-morning hours here. Forecast highs, not quite as hot as yesterday where we had places getting close to 100 degrees. We've had that for the last couple of days. We expect more low to mid-90s today, so maybe 94 degrees in Selma, 94 in Monroeville, 95 degrees in Birmingham. As far as the high temperatures. And we do have a level 1 out of 5 severe weather risk for today. So you see the area in green here, so covering a good portion of northern Alabama. At the southeastern corner and down in the coastal areas are not included in this right now. Not to say that you couldn't see some thunderstorms, but in the green area here is going to be the main area where you would expect to see some stronger thunderstorms with the potential for some gusty winds, maybe some small hail, but the gusty winds would be the main thing, and some heavy rain and lightning with these thunderstorms for this afternoon. And that's what the Storm Prediction Center has outlooked, is just a 5% chance in the brown area here, in the same area where we saw the green. That's just a 5% chance of severe wind gusts over 58 miles per hour within 25 miles of any one point within that area. So again, not a huge risk, but certainly possible that we'll see a couple of strong thunderstorms and maybe a few severe later this afternoon. Looking at the Futurecast model, as we get into the 3 o'clock hour, showers and thunderstorms scattered across much of the state. Again, I think it's likely that a lot of the ones in the north would be the stronger storms that we may be dealing with. And as we get even through the evening, could see some of those linger before starting to die off later in the evening. Then as we get into tomorrow afternoon, you can see that boundary pushes enough to the south that we would expect a lot of the northern part of the state won't see as much or any showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon. And you'll see that focus of that activity being more along the southern tier of counties. And so that's kind of what we're looking at for tomorrow. And then as we get into Friday, seeing that boundary maybe kind of lift back up a little bit more and some more scattered showers and thunderstorms even starting Friday morning. But again, the trend overall for the next couple of days going into the weekend is going to be an increase in the showers and thunderstorm chances. And that's going to be in part due to this ridge to our west starting to break down. So you can see we will see more of a trough starting to come in from the north. That's, again, going to help to increase rain chances, back down the heat just a little bit going into the weekend. And if we go a little bit further out, this is looking into early next week. And then you really start to see the blues there in the upper levels coming down towards the north. We start to get some northwesterly flow, and this is the point where we actually are going to get some drier continental air in place, which is going to help us to have some fairly cool mornings, maybe some places dipping down in the upper 50s for lows the first couple of mornings of next week, and just general pleasant weather, less humidity, which again, always excited to see in August. And this is the temperature outlook for next week. And you can see all the blues there. Anytime you see blues like this in August, it's always nice. So much of the state, pretty much all the state, will be below normal, and maybe along the coast will be near normal, but it'll be refreshing, I think, for pretty much everyone across the state to get a little bit of a break from the heat and humidity. All right, as far as the tropics are concerned, Hurricane Erin is starting to do its jog towards the north. Again, looking fairly close to the outer bands and the clouds moving around the center there, starting to approach the coast of North Carolina and South Carolina as well. Starting to get a little bit of an eye starting to reform here, and we were certainly expecting that there was possible that we could see some re-strengthening of Erin a little bit today. So that looks like we may be seeing that here, definitely looking like a little bit better structure than what we saw for most of yesterday. Sustained winds at 100 miles per hour with gusts up to 120 miles per hour. Again, moving to the north-northwest, but expecting it to turn more towards the north as it skirts along the coast here. So again, could see a little bit of strengthening over the next day or so. It will then be curving out to sea. And again, the main focus of impacts along the east coast of the U.S. will be rip currents and high waves. And for marine interest, anyone who's out on the coast, they're going to need to avoid that. And you certainly want to just avoid getting out in the water if you happen to be watching us from over there for the next several days as the hurricane passes. As far as what's coming down the pipe further east in the Atlantic, so this orange area here is the 60% chance of development that we'll be watching for this disturbance here. And then we have another disturbance that's got a 40% chance back to the east. Now, at this point, again, just looking at this orange region, you can see it's expected to start to curve in a similar fashion, maybe even a little bit sooner than Erin. So we're not really expecting any trouble for us here in Alabama or in the Gulf for the next week, which is always great as we head towards the peak of tropical season in the next month or so. All right, your 7-day forecast, again, hot again today, into the mid-90s, but then you see the temperature start to back down, rain chances a little bit on the increase as we head through the weekend. And then look at that, you've got those 80s for highs, maybe low 80s as we get into Tuesday with those lows down around 60. And again, some spots could see lower than that. For South Alabama, low to mid 90s, and definitely increasing rain chances there. Not as much in the north, but definitely increasing rain chances in South Alabama. And again, those lows getting down even to the 80s in the South Alabama with a dip in the humidity there as well. Well, that's your forecast for this morning. We'll have another one coming up this afternoon.